Welcome to Caregivers and Community Connection. Of course, I'm Sharon Kelly, and I'm your host each and every Saturday morning right here on Comcast Cable, Channel 96. I want to thank you all for tuning in with me. I come on at 11 a.m. on Saturday morning and Sunday morning, 8:30 a.m. right here on this station. So please tune in. But today, I want to introduce you to my guest today, and that's Miss Nikki Nicholson. Good morning, Nikki.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you this morning?
I am great. I wanted to talk to you again, girl, because the last time you were here, it seemed like we just didn't have enough time to talk about the romance movement and all the things that you're doing and some of the things that's going on in the community that you and I talk about each and every Sunday from 12:30 to 1:30 on Groove 93.5. And I want to thank you personally for coming on and taking up that space and coming and hosting with me, co-hosting with me on the station, being here when I'm not here, and just making things still flow.
It's my pleasure, Sharon.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
But some things are going on today.
Yes, ma'am.
Where people should be romancing.
Yes.
Tonight is Nights to Remember.
Yes, it is.
And this big event has been going on in our city for over 26 years. And that's when we dress up, we walk the red carpet, and we go out and we do a big date night.
Yes.
And you always encourage that. You encourage people being together, the romance, each other. So I think in our city tonight, it's going to be a lot of romance going on.
It's definitely going to be a night to remember.
Yes, for a lot of people.
Yes.
So we encourage you to get dressed right now. Hopefully you got everything together. But most of all, you got your ticket because you know who's coming to town.
Yes, yes, yes.
Uncle
Charlie, yes.
Uncle Charlie is going to be in town. And as well as after 7.
I'm excited.
With our very own Mr. Jermaine Perfori,
Yes.
our artist down at Mocha. He's going to be taking the stage with After 7. And then you got Joe Johnson Review. He can really play the sax.
I can't wait.
So
I'm
it's going to be
excited.
exciting. And you know what the after party going to be?
Mocha.
Of course.
Yes.
So I just had to throw that one in there because it's an exciting night, especially for a date night. But it's Saturday. So I still find that people are having a little problem with figuring out date night at Mocha and what you're trying to bring. Can you kind of tell us or tell me or tell the community what you are hoping to see with date night being billed there at Mocha each and every Friday night?
Yes, ma'am, gladly. Basically what we're looking for, we're making an atmosphere for you and your significant other to come and enjoy. Wonderful music, live band, people, the city of Chattanooga, and wonderful, wonderful food. Somewhere where you can feel comfortable to bring your significant other and you enjoy each other, you know?
Wow.
Dance and just reconnect. That's what it's all about, is reconnecting. I don't care if you've been married for 50, 60 years. You still need to reconnect. Each and every day, something new. And it's very important.
You and I, we met a lady over the air,
Yes.
Miss Pride, and she was saying she'd been married 46 years.
Yes.
And
yes.
they adopted 6 children, and they had 4 of their own, her and her husband. And how wonderful the marriage was. But she told us to do something.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember?
She said, put God first. Put God first. And, you know, make that trinity with you, your spouse. And love them, you know, the way the Bible tells you to. You know, if you put those foundations down, if you put that first,
I told her it was like that triangle.
Yes.
God
yes.
at the top, husband and wife. And that makes the triangle
It makes a triangle.
complete.
Yes, that's where it flows. It flows just like that, you know, and you put God first, you will not go wrong.
On last week, I went out and met some new partners at First Thing First. And I just wanted to ask you these questions and maybe go over them with the community on certain things as marriage that maybe we need to look at. Do you know some right off?
Well, number one, first of all, you should know, the one that you're marrying. You should know them as a friend first. You know, um, that's very important. A lot of marriages are coming together, and you don't even know them as your friend.
What about a commitment?
Most definitely, being committed is a must. Being married, because you're saying I do. You're giving yourself to that one person. So you have to be totally sure, totally ready to fully commit into a marriage. And you may love this person, you may love them with all your heart, but if you're not ready to commit, then you might want to take your time on that.
Yeah, what about, some people go in talking about a prenup agreement and they haven't even married yet. So they talking about ending the marriage. Should you do that?
Well, I feel like no one, you know yourself, better than anyone else. And so you know your full intentions. But I do feel like it's very important to be safe, because you may not know your significant other full intention, So it's to each his own. If you and your spouse feel comfortable, you and your mate feel comfortable with that, then I say it's okay. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going into this marriage looking for it to fail. You're just being safe.
I know a lot of artists, they have a tendency to sign prenup agreement, or people who have a lot of assets,
Yes.
because financial always plays a role in marriage. So I just wanted to cover that question. And what about setting realistic expectations? I think sometimes people try to get next to you and they promise you all these things. And then once they marry you, they're not able to keep up with the things that they promise you.
Yes.
So those are the expectations. Can you kind of hit a few points on
Yes,
that?
I would love to. Setting up just real expectations is healthy for any relationship. A lot of things you may want to do from the heart, and you may want to give a person the world from your heart. But start with something real, something that you and this other person can truly relate to, because when you start giving empty promises, then it starts breaking down the trust in your relationship, and a lot of things that you say are no more valuable.
And one of the things that you are trying to encourage now with the movement is about continuing to date. I mean, you're married. What do you think about that? We're trying to bring date night, but some nights we have good nights and some nights not so good. What is it that we can tell Chattanooga to encourage them, if they're married, to do a date night?
It's very, very healthy for the relationship. Sometimes you may go through bumps in the road, or, hard turns and corners, or daggers may be thrown at you in your marriage. And as long as you have just that time together, those precious moments that you create, with dating and getting to know each other all over again, it definitely helps your battles, it helps your fights. Whether you may not be going through anything at all, it makes love better. And for the men out there who don't understand, I would like you to know that the benefits of romance are amazing.
Because I noticed that a lot of times when the people come in to date night, the husband and the wives especially, they're not even communicating.
Right.
They're not talking, but when you get through with them, they're talking, dancing, smiling,
Yes,
and
yes.
holding hands
Yes.
when they leave.
It's amazing. It's almost like magic before my eyes, and it gets me every time I see it. It's like a spark. You see that spark start to ignite, and it starts getting brighter and brighter, and before you know it, in each relationship, I notice that it's as if there's nobody else in the room but them. And I encourage it, and I love it.
So it brings that spark
Yes.
back into your marriage.
If you're looking for that spark, if you're missing something, or if you just want to build, most definitely I encourage you to date. I encourage you to come to date night on Fridays and just enjoy yourself and enjoy your significant other and treat each other. You deserve it. You deserve this night to get away from the world, the work day, whatever is going on in your life. You deserve to have your special moment.
I remember Miss Pride saying over the air She don't have to worry about grandkids that night. When she come out on date
Yes,
night,
yes, you don't.
people dropping by. It's about her and her spouse and them having a good time. And they were in their 60s, and he's 70. But she said they hadn't did it in a long time, and they're looking forward to coming out and having dinner and doing one of your packages.
Yes, ma'am. And with one of my packages that I have is date night at Mocha, where as you're enjoying this, the essence of Mocha, you know, you get a serenade and you have the wonderful food. And while all this is going on, I have some magic working behind the scenes for you, either at your home or if you like to get like a nice hotel room around, you know, the downtown area.
Everybody got one this weekend.
Yes.
Including me.
Yes, yes.
But I don't have a date.
It's going to be a busy. It's going to be busy for us this weekend.
Yeah.
We'll make it wonderful for you.
What about engaging in that open communication that we talked about?
Yes, if you don't have it, that's when your marriage becomes stale, stagnant, and that's when you start the distance starts creeping between your marriage, and then you start feeling as if you don't know this person anymore. And with that being said, you know, you change every day.
You know what I put on Facebook the other week prior to date night? I asked them on Monday to write their spouse or significant other a little note.
Yes.
Asking for a date. You know, and I think that's, you know, that would make me feel good. Because, you know, all us women, we're very emotional.
Very, very.
So those are just some of the tips that we wanted to do to help make marriages better. And we're going to talk a little bit more about caregivers and what they need to do to get that break too. So you and I will be right back. So don't change that dial.
This is Mocha. If you don't know, now you know.
Welcome back to Caregivers and Community Connection. In the studio with me this morning, I got the very own, my very own friend, Ms. Nikki Nicholson, and we're talking about the movement, the romance movement this morning. And, you know, something that's very dear to me, Nikki, is caregivers and taking care of those who once took care of you. And a lot of times I see marriages, they talk to me because I'm caring for their loved ones, especially spouses. And they're complaining about the mother-in-law had to move in, or whatever the case may be. Husband don't seem like they ever have time for one another. They got children, so they're either on the baseball field, or especially now, or I'm taking mom to the doctor, I'm taking his mom to the doctor, and he's always tired. He just want to lay around on the couch, and he don't want to do anything. And the marriage is being drained, or either the relationship.
Yes.
Maybe you hadn't even married him yet. You want to, but he don't even have time to ask you for taking care and doing other things. So what kind of, I guess, suggestions can you give to a couple who was in the sandwich generation, taking care of their kids as well as taking care of their parents in order to give themselves a little time?
Well, first I would like to remind you to not forget about, you know, yourself and your spouse, your mate. Don't forget about what your needs are, because it can dwindle right underneath you, and you not even realize it's, you know, it's happening. So some things I could actually, you know, offer you. For one is date night at Mocha on Friday nights, where you can relieve your stress and kind of just let things go for a second. You know, release all things that, you know, you don't want to deal with, and just enjoy your significant other. Also with the Romance Project, my business, we cater to those needs, to where the spouse may be working just as hard, and the wife may, you know, be working hard and also taking care of the elderly. and you can't find a place to where you can make this magic work. Our job is to come in and relieve you of all of that.
But what if kids are home?
We have caregivers. We have a child care service that will come and take care of your children. A cleaning service will come and clean your home. And personal chefs come and cook your food. Massage therapists to come, couples massage therapists come and, just relieve you of all that stress. And then at the end of the day, we'll come and we'll even decorate your room with lights, candles, rose petals, and some soft music. So we're here to cater to you. And it's just something that's needed.
What about having, I just thought of this, a television in the bedroom? Do you think that's an appropriate place for a television?
I feel to each his own, but for me, I'd rather not, because it's easy to get consumed by the television, and I feel like the bedroom is a sacred place. That's where you lay your head, that's where you tell your most intimate secrets, all your emotions and feelings are stored in a bedroom, and that's you and your spouse's quiet place, and it's very special, so that's where you are to connect. And a lot of times you get sucked into the TV and you miss out on those precious moments.
I know, because a lot of the books that I read, they always say you shouldn't have a television in your bedroom. And some of us just so accustomed to it, but we probably need to break the habit.
I encourage people to just try it. Take it out the room for a while and talk, play, enjoy each other, start laughing again, and just really communicating again. I feel like the bedroom is the perfect place for when you go to bed at night and when you wake up in the morning to just start your day off with communicating with your significant other. It's very important.
I like that, because for caregivers, sometimes we don't get a break. If we got mom living with us or dad or our mother-in-law, father-in-law, we got our kids, sometimes I guess you would want to suggest that they go away and actually do something that's not in the home.
Yes, please do. Sometimes you need a break. You need, something that is different from what you're always doing. It's a breath of fresh air. And I encourage it. I don't care if it's just an evening picnic, an evening stroll. Start making it a point to do things outside of home, if you can, to help you in your relationship. If not, I can make that place at home. I can make it into a place that you feel like you're in a restaurant. You feel like you're in just whatever little wonderland your mind wanders off to. I can take you there in your home.
I like that, because sometimes people just can't get away.
That's right.
But they want to get away. They want to get away from what it looked like at home.
Yes.
So, I just wanted to kind of cover that today for caregivers, because so many of them never get a break. They feel guilty when they get a break. They got to leave, they got to rush, they got to get home.
Yes.
And it's all about the other person, but it's not about that relationship, that triangle that they're trying to connect with God and themselves to keep it where it needs to be.
Pace it and get to know a person. Everyone wants to put their best foot forward, and at times they can actually throw a little extra in, to cover up who they really are. So take your time so that you can just peel the layers back and see who you're really getting to know and date.
Like, sometimes I notice men and women will have problems with certain things, such as they show you some signs and symptoms, like they might drink too much.
Yes.
Or you might not like a smoker,
Yes.
but they smoking every 5 minutes. And then when we marry them, we think we're going to change them. And that's not going to happen.
That is a mistake I see over and over again. And I encourage people to, the things that you may not like in a relationship, if you, number one, don't go into a relationship trying to change someone, because you've accepted it once you decided to get into this relationship. So if it's something that you don't like, you talk about it. And if it's just in them not to change, then know that you can just keep this person as a friend. And this person may not be for you. You don't settle and then you get with this person and say, well, you know, I need you to change once you get married. That's not fair to your significant other.
I remember a sermon that my pastor preached several years ago, Pastor Jeff Wilson, at New United Missionary Baptist Church. It was sex, lies, and soul ties.
Oh, wow.
Because do you understand that once you have sex, you tie the soul?
Yes, ma'am.
And
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
connected. You look at that individual differently, whether you want to or not. So you've been soul tied, but it was on sex and lies because you rushed into a relationship and you didn't develop a friendship nor a partnership. You just went right in. And I see so many people doing that. What would you say about that?
I would recommend that you wait, stay abstinent, you know, wait as long as you can. It seems like when you wait, you notice the little things more, you know, and the good, the bad, the ugly, the wonderful, the great. But it also seems like when you jump into having sex, for some reason you're blinded by a lot of things, and you know, all you're feeling is these just emotions. And then once all those things settle down, subside, all these little flags start popping up and it's too late. You're already in the relationship. So I would suggest you definitely just take your time and get to know this person, because when it finally gets to that stage to where you do, you know, start having sex, it makes it so much better. There's nothing better than loving the person you're loving.
I want to say this to the community. A lot of people know my brother, Jeffrey Jackson. He passed away in 2004 at Mueller Company in an accident. But they all those guys down at the shop, they picked on my brother each and every day because he stayed absent before he got married. And they gave him such a hard time. But you know what? He stayed with what he believed. And he didn't. And he would come tell me about it. And he was just a blessing to them. And when he passed away and all the guys got up, the first thing they talked about was how my brother stayed absent from having sex with his wife until after he married him. So that touched them. And he was an example for so many men that you could really do it.
It speaks volumes about a person who strives, you know, to be that person of character. It takes a very strong person.
It does. You know? And I had to do that shout out. He's been dead 10 years, believe it or not. And he was only 41 years old when he passed away. And he had been married and he had 2 small kids. And he just had beliefs that I don't see a lot of men with. And a lot of times I'm looking for my brother. Yes. And that's hard to find in a man. You know, when you're looking for, I would say, somewhere, he's not perfect, but he was somewhat of a perfect man. So anyway, and they all said that too as well. So he wasn't that jerk.
Yes.
That so many of us get caught up with. And I wanted to cover some of those things today. We're getting ready to end the show. But can you just give Chattanooga time to come down for date night with you?
Most
and how to reach
definitely.
you?
Yes, we would love to have you come down to date night on Friday nights, starting from 5 to 11:30, where we have live music from our wonderful Renaissance band, wonderful food, and just the whole atmosphere of just love. Please come down. You can also reach me at 423-508-9330, or my website at theromanceproject.net. That's www.theromanceproject.net. But again, I encourage you to come down to Mocha on Friday nights and experience the romance movement. You'll be glad you came.
And start the night with Nights to Remember.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Nikki, for coming
you.
out and sharing this with me. And thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.